Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 65. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, man, is it just me or has this last week just flown by?
No, it flew by. It flew by quick, man. Fourth of July. It's funny. We were gonna do some multiplayer last night, and it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I sat down, thought I'd lay down for a few minutes, and then I woke up this morning. It was 6 a.m. and I missed the fireworks, which I didn't care about, but I did miss hanging out with you, which sucked. But yeah, so it went by quick, too quick.
Yeah, man, I completely forgot about it. I knew it was the 4th of July, but it never dawned on me about the fireworks and all that stuff. My family's been gone camping this week, and for the first time in forever, I actually had to work this past week. So, yeah, it was on my way home from work last night. It had dawned on me, oh, yeah, they just had the big fireworks celebration here just
Mm.
a few minutes before I was driving through.
You didn't even barbecue or anything?
Nah, man, I
Uh,
came home and made myself a little bit of dinner and then stayed up half the night reading VR news and deciding what we're going to talk about today.
yeah, that's the dilemma, right? It's do you play VR or do you research for the show? It's better for the show if you research. It's funny. I wanted to see a Thieves last night with Jim Hall, which we're still looking for our third and fourth. And I again, like I did last week, I went into virtual desktop and I was blown away, Wes. Like I didn't. I guess when you have, because I guess the spoiler alert, I got the Rift S again, and so I was looking through that new that better screen, and it just looked so crisp and so amazing. And then it reminded me that even though the CV1 is amazing, Scion, you need to upgrade now, bro. Don't wait for the Reverb 2, dude. Just get the Rift S. You'll enjoy it. Canada it up, and that's my suggestion anyway.
Yeah, without without saying too much, I'm going to choose my words very, very carefully here and say, Sion, you need to don't wait until the second wave comes and knocks us back out of stock again. Apparently, now's the time to get a headset. Get in while the getting's good.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Like I just decided I was going on a whim, like the day before, like on Thursday night. I thought, let me check and see if there's Rift S's or any Quests available. And I went to Quest first. To Best Buy, you could get both of them. And then I went to the Rift S, and I clicked on the actual Oculus website, and where it tells you can get them at these retailers. It was sold out everywhere, but I clicked on Walmart, and Walmart said it was available right now. Come get it. You can pick it up now. And I was like, oh man, that can't be right. So I just put it in my cart and I waited a day, and I came back and it still said the same thing. So I went ahead and bought it, and I had to wait till the next day, but it was there. But the funny thing is it still says it's available right now at that same store. So they must have multiples in the stock. And I think they're starting to flood the market, maybe, or maybe just this area, or I don't know. I picked the right time to get the Rift S, but it's definitely a good upgrade from the CV1. I found out again, second time. So
Yeah, looks like from the timing, it was just meant to be. Uh, and I made a little bit of a upgrade to my situation this past week as well, basically just because of some perfect timing. I was talking to Shiny Robot on the Discord about streaming to the Quest wirelessly using virtual desktop, and I was wondering why so many people seem to have, you know, perfect success streaming, but mine's always so choppy. So he let me know what the specs were uh, for a router, the ideal router to stream with, and I checked mine, and I was woefully under spec. So I decided I would start to keep an eye on the Facebook Marketplace to uh, so I'll know when there's a good deal on a router on there, and like literally within 5 minutes of looking, I came upon an ad for like a Netgear Nighthawk, one of those gaming routers. They normally go for $100, and dude had 60 on it. I offered him 40, and bingo bango, all of a sudden I've got a new router, and it's night and day the difference between streaming on the old router and the new one.
that's the only thing I regret, because we were talking about before we started streaming that there's benefits and drawbacks to the Quest with the Link. And one of the things reason why I decided to go with the Rift is the screen door effect. But man, I really want to experience what you've told me and what other people have told me about virtual desktop streamed wirelessly. Like, you know what I mean? If you could play most of the games flawlessly or mostly flawlessly without that tether, that just sounds appealing to me.
Yeah, it still hitches occasionally. I wouldn't use it for like a fast-paced multiplayer game or anything, but for the single player story-driven experiences that I'm normally playing, it works just fine. Uh, it doesn't work quite as well as Link, but it doesn't have to, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Swift says, I have a Nighthawk, works great for wireless streaming with virtual desktop. So that's another person that's saying the same thing that you just said. And that's one of the things that I really, really hope they come out with. Still don't know why we don't have a wireless adapter for the Rift S or just something, man. Like, I would think wireless would be a priority, but I guess that would also conflict with the Quest. So maybe that'll never happen.
I think it's coming. I mean, we know that they're working on a newer version of the Quest, and I think that the newer version, at least to some extent, is going to have PC streaming in mind, where it's kind of just something that they tacked on to the current Quest. So I think it's coming. There's a new Wi-Fi standard out now, Wi-Fi 6, which is blazing fast and should be able to handle streaming some pretty good, signal, VR signal over it. So I feel like in the next year to 2 years, we'll see official support from Oculus. There's no shortage of innovation over there. They've showed us in the last week all of the some of the different areas that they keep innovating in, and it's just amazing what they're doing with everything. They've showed off those lifelike avatars. They now have realistic eyes. Before the faces look pretty good, but the eyes look kind of dead, and they've changed that now, and they've perfected the eyes. They also showed off technology this week, or at least talked about technology that's going to allow them a better, more immersive experience on mobile hardware. Not getting it to PC levels by any stretch, but they say it's within. It's conceivable that in the very near future, that mobile VR, like the next iteration of Quest, will be something a little bit more on par with, let's say, a PSVR.
Yeah, cool. Well, good times, they are changing. They're good, right? So,
indeed, they are. Chat seems to be filling out nicely. VR Spry Guy in the house. Revero, Greg's VR, Swift's in the house. Jim Hall, Roy Schwartz, Rendered Reality. What's up, guys? Slay Blaze. All right, thanks for stopping by. So I guess we need to get on and start talking about some of this news, and there was quite a bit of it this week, Ruuts. And I just want to go ahead and say right off the top here, I'm not going to give my long form thoughts on Iron Man VR because, well, I'm saving that for tomorrow. Honestly, I haven't had enough time to really dive into that game like it deserves, and I think that's what we're going to do on the Monday show tomorrow, or at least one of the things that we're going to do tomorrow. So if you're here to get my thoughts on Iron Man VR, come back tomorrow, and I will be glad to share them with you.
Yeah, I know Mamefan was putting off every other game to play some Iron Man VR, so I definitely am looking forward to your thoughts. I haven't even talked to you about it yet, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to discern what the media, the VR media thinks about Iron Man in general, because they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. It's really obvious that they all really want to like it and want to call it Game of the Year, but it just has a few issues that are a little too glaring, at least at this point. Now, with that said, we're not that far from the release of PlayStation 5, and I'm quite sure that most of the issues that people are having are going to disappear when that day comes.
Cool.
Anyway, but no shortage of PlayStation VR news this week. Not at all. And, we went over it last week quite a bit about what a month that PSVR has in store, and it just got better exponentially this week because we got the week off to the start with an announcement via the PlayStation, or I'm sorry, the Dreams. Trying to forget the Media Molecule did a like a week long Dreams event where they give out tutorials and all sorts of new news. And the big news coming out of the early part of the week was that Dreams PSVR support is in fact ready, and we're going to be getting it in just about 2 weeks' time.
Wow. Well, so are you skeptical at all? There's people in the Discord that are like, this is, I mean, it's how is it going to be ready? The frames, and how's it going to is it going to be for the pro only? I think it's going to, obviously they're going to have tailored experiences, right? It's not going to be everything out there, I would imagine.
Right. Well, they've been surprisingly, they've been fairly, tight-lipped with what we actually should expect from Dream's PSVR support. They're not really telling us a whole lot about it. I mean, they've told us a few things, and but our preconceived notions of what Dream's PSVR was going to be seem to be just that, preconceived notions, and it does look like it's at least very much a possibility that the VR support for Dreams is going to be an entirely separate thing. So all of the levels that have been submitted to the servers via the larger Dreams player base, I don't think any of that stuff's going to be playable in VR. I think that they're going to be releasing VR creators tools this week, and all of the VR content is going to be specially made for VR.
Oh, okay. Well, Rendered Reality wants to know if you're going to be making any thing in there.
Not a chance in hell. I picked up Dreams late last year when it was in early access, but I basically just did it because I knew this day was coming, right? I knew that one day Dreams was going to be getting VR support, and when that day comes, there's going to be an infinite supply of experiences. And I'm, of course, many of them aren't going to be worth my time, but a lot of them are. And the good thing that we learned, one of the few things that Media Molecule actually shared with us was that there are in fact going to be ratings in the form of comfort ratings. So creators are going to be able to tag their content as VR content, and then users are going to be able to rate that. So we'll know going in, which ones are popular, which ones aren't. So that's going to help us to filter out a lot of the junk that is undoubtedly going to be on there.
Oh, good. So I don't have to worry about getting sick. Although I probably won't be playing it because I don't have a PlayStation VR anymore. Although that breakfast looks good, man. I saw that and I was like, damn, dude, I need some eggs and bacon. Like, what the hell's going on? Where's my chef? I don't have my chef here. Don't own a chef.
Yeah. But... Yeah, it looks like Ruuts' dream come true, huh?
Yeah. But that looks pretty cool. I know the developer in the Discord's been excited about this coming out, right, on the PlayStation VR.
A lot of people have been excited about this. I mean, this has endless potential. I mean, we've seen, even though we're not going to get to play some of that, flat stuff that they've the user base has created over the last year, we have been able to see what kind of talent is available out there. And it never ceases to amaze me how creative and talented people are when given proper tools. And my Media Molecule has said that included with the free update that's coming on July 22nd will be VR specific tutorials, kits, as well as playable content. So not only are they going to give people these tools, they're going to show people how to use them. And interestingly, it says that there's going to be playable content included as well, because unless I'm mistaken, I think that they released a playable campaign with the original Dreams release. And really that was all of the VR support that I expected before PlayStation 5 was that that specific campaign would be playable in VR, but no word on whether or not we'll be able to actually do that. But apparently, we are going to get some sort of playable content as well as all of these tools and tutorials.
Oh, that's cool. Sounds good. How long do you think it will be till people have like good stuff? Because it's going to take a while for people to work with it, mess with it, come up with something really cool. Couple months maybe.
Well, yeah, it depends on how long it's been in beta. Honestly, when Dreams went into full release this last February, there was already a great wealth of good quality experiences to experience on day one, and the reason for that was that they allowed people early access to it, and people got to work right away. So I'm sure this thing's been in beta for at least a little while. I mean, we learned about the beta at least a month ago.
Yeah.
So I'd say that there's going to be some stuff for us to experience on day one, not only from Media Molecule, but from those beta testers as well.
Cool. Says that was captured on a PS4 Pro. So that's what I would do. Not that crap.
Yeah, that's really the question, right? Is how is this thing going to stand up on the OG? Obviously, the Pro a lot more capable than the original PlayStation. That's what I'm interested in, because I got to imagine, just to get this thing through Sony QA, that it must be in a pretty good playable state, at least from the perspective of performance.
Do you think developers are going to miss these days, like when the PS5 hits and they have to develop for 4/5? Like, man,
not at all. And you can see it by what people are saying about PlayStation 5, by what the developers are saying. They're all so excited to have such a capable machine, and that is to some extent because of the limitations of the last generation.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds cool. I was just reading the comments. Everybody's talking about gun game. I know. Hey, Reckoner VR's in the comments. What's up, Reckoner? But yeah, no, they're talking about contractors, man. Contractors have been lighting up not only the Virtual Strangers Discord, but also Rendered Reality. From what I hear, they've got quite a group going on over there. It sounds like they're pros with their gun stocks and stuff. I don't have a gun stock, so.
Well, I feel pretty confident that our Discord can at least hang with them. And Scion's a killer in the contractors anyway, even if he is a little bit of a cheater.
Yeah, Spry. Yeah, true. Spry guy as well, and so Overgees. Overgees, One Eye Overgees, man. He does really well with his gun stock. So.
Yeah. He made his, didn't he? Homemade.
Yeah, it's a homemade one. So.
I think that might be the way to go. I mean, it beats the hell out of spending like $150 or whatever on a Pro Tube.
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm thinking I don't know, man. That's a lot of money to invest in a Pro Tube, but it sounds cool for sure.
Reckoner VR says, if I'm rubbish at contractors, will I have a bad time? That just depends on who you're playing with, brother. If you're hooking up with the Virtual Strangers Discord, or I'm sure the Rendered Reality Discord as well, nothing but quality people in there. So it's a blast to play with people. Now it might not be so great going in with a bunch of strangers, and if you can't hang, but I'm not the best in the world at contractors. I've only played it 2 or 3 times, and I always have a great time, even though Scion normally takes my head with him when we play.
No, you'll love it, Gary. It's the mods that they got. You'd have to download the maps and stuff, but they're adding really cool maps like Nuketown, Terminal, just a whole bunch of different old Modern Warfare maps. They've got Kill Confirmed, Domination, Gun Game. So most of these, like even Gun Game, we'll play like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, where you got your teammates, but you're still individually trying to get to the ultimate gun yourself to win. But you have other people that you can go around with. But our favorite so far is Kill Confirmed, and that's because not only the kill matters, but confirming the kill matters even more. So
Yeah, they just released another new game mode a couple days ago, or am I mistaken about that?
I think they did. Yeah, it was like you have to take the bomb and carry it. You have a person that you have to protect the bomb carrier or whatever. But yeah, no, Gary, the Contractors original, I love the guns, I love the gameplay, but the actual game modes suck. I didn't like it. It was just one node, you protected it and it moved. And but now that they're adding classic maps and they're adding through mods, they're adding classic modes like gun game, kill confirm, domination. It's the only one, and they added a jump button, which is amazing for me. But it's the only game that I've really seen that has a good domination mode in, because I don't think Pavlov does. But the maps look amazing. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. It's really quality, and it's amazing how just all of a sudden the contractors devs just come to life and turn it into take it from being a pretty good, multiplayer FPS experience to a vastly improved, in my opinion, the best multiplayer FPS experience on VR right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the exception of Firewall, of course, but Firewall's kind of a different game, right?
Yeah, I still wish that would come to PC. Rendered Reality wants to know when we're going to play. He says, when are we going to play? I say we set up something today. I know I've got to do the Dark Frequencies podcast with Skiva and Anthony after this, but other than that, I'm free to play after. So
I'll say this: I'm not 100% sure how much time I'll be able to get into it today. My family's coming home, and it's my son's birthday, so things are kind of in flux. But I might be able to get in there for a few minutes today, and I'm free all week because you know, even though I worked last week, I'm come back into another week off this week, Roots.
oh, sweet, because we need to get some gameplay played and recorded. So
Yeah. So yeah, rendered reality, guys. We're literally it's almost daily in our Discord that these guys are playing contractors. They'll generally play contractors 2 days in a row. They'll take a day and they'll play grip, and then they'll go the next day right back to contractors. So I'll be free most of this week, and those guys are playing every day. So yeah, we need to set something up. And from what I hear, you guys have a pretty large group that plays contractors regularly, so it should be a good time.
they're good. Yeah, we can get a full lobby now. Reckoner VR wants to know what Dark Frequencies is talking about today, which our topic is simulation theory.
Oh,
So
brother,
that'll be
we can. You guys are going to have a hard time squeezing that one into a 3-hour podcast, right?
yeah. Well, hopefully it won't be that long after this one. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting topic for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so it's an interesting topic to talk about because it ties into so many other topics. You know what I mean? Other areas that if reality is a simulation, and I don't want to start dark frequencies here on the Virtual Stranger
Mm.
Show, but it means a lot of different things, and namely, and what I really never hear people saying, and it just kind of blows my mind. Uh, a lot of people that are willing to accept the idea that we're living in a simulation aren't willing to accept the idea of an intelligent creator, of God.
Mm.
But if you believe that this is a simulation, I mean, it didn't just happen naturally occurring, right? That means that is an intelligent creator, and it means that there's a God. But I never see people quite reconciling that fact in their head.
No, because I don't know. It's weird. That's exactly kind of what my thought on it as well is like if there is a simulation theory, it could be how God uses it for this universe. I don't know how everything they say, everything's duplicated. If it's on Earth, it's in heaven. So why wouldn't computers on a fantastic level that could create a whole universe to go into? So I don't know. That's very interesting.
I bet in heaven they've already got 4080 Ti, dude.
Oh my God, dude! I need to go. I don't want to go there though, Wes. I want to stay on Earth for as long as I can.
Can you imagine the ray tracing in heaven, Roots?
Yeah, ray tracing Minecraft, dude, in VR. That's one thing you don't got. Oh.
Rendered Reality says Whose channel is the Dark Frequencies podcast on? It's on its own channel. They actually created a new channel for it. They've already got one episode under their belt, and they go bi-weekly. So they'll go today, and then 2 weeks from the day they'll do the next episode.
Yeah, I don't even know what the next one is.
Roy Swartz says, "What's outside it?" That's the question, right? Well, what happens when we get to the edge of the universe? I would imagine that there are other universes, and that everything kind of looks the same from a certain perspective, from a microscopic level to a gigantic, ginormous level. Basically, if you look at the galaxies uh, in the universe and the way that they work together, and then you look at things on the microscopic cellular level, things are kind of organized in a very similar fashion. So I got to imagine if we zoomed out even further to the point where we could see the boundaries of the universe, just on the outside of that, you'll see other universes much assembled in much a similar way to, again, cells in any piece of matter or galaxies in the larger universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Boydcat says Dreams hype. Yeah, man, Dreams. There's a lot of potential here. It's a very powerful game engine. There's a reason why it took 7 or 8 years for them to develop it and release it. It's because it's a legitimate game engine, and if the creators of the program have their way, this is something that developers are going to use for years to come, not only to create these amateur experiences, but to hopefully one day monetize games that were created in Dreams, much like an Unreal Engine or a Unity.
Yeah. I think this game's going to shine when PS5 hits, or at least in the virtual way. Just think about the resource, not having to worry about the resources will make a big difference for the creators for sure.
Yeah, man. That was kind of our prediction, right? Was that the PlayStation VR support would be kind of limited on PlayStation 4. And when PS5 comes out was when you would see full functionality released. So I got to hand it to these developers, man. Kudos to them for having a releasable product before PlayStation 5. It just goes to show you how talented developers are when they're properly funded and set up with optimization in mind. These guys can literally accomplish anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you see what they're able to do on PlayStation 4, and even to a larger extent with Oculus Quest, man. Every new wave of Quest games is better than the last, and it makes you wonder when they're going to hit that that brick wall and stop being able to innovate on it. But we haven't seen it yet, man. It's full steam ahead, and it really, again, the talent of today's VR developers never ceases to amaze me.
My question would be, will they ever hit that wall for the Quest? Because with a new updated Quest right around the corner, you know what I mean? They might transition right into that one, never really hitting that wall and going into the next generation, or I guess half generation, it sounds like. So,
well, it's interesting that when you listen to some of the things that Facebook said this week, and you've been saying it for a long time, that that big advancements are coming sooner than everyone thinks, and that whenever they get the AI trained and apply that to VR, that it's going to be revolutionary. And basically, that's exactly what Facebook said with regards to mobile VR this past week, as they touted some of their research in machine learning and in artificial intelligence. And basically, what they've done is they have a working algorithm now that they can increase the render resolution by 16 just through using AI and prediction. So what basically that's going to do is it's going to allow them to take something like a mobile processor that's in the Quest, and that's what I was referring to earlier when I said they were expecting to get around console level quality out of it. Well, that's how they're doing artificial super sampling using artificial intelligence, and it's really amazing the progress that they claim to have made.
Wow. Well, how would that translate to regular PC with a good video card? To do the same thing and get it even better. I mean, do you think Anthony will finally get his VR prawn he's been waiting for? That's
I
real.
don't know if the prawn's ever going to be good enough for Anthony.
Uh,
Um, people say it's not so bad right now, Roots.
yeah, yeah. So I guess it's the right ones you hit, but no, man, really crazy. And it makes me wonder, will they like you could have a scene, and it's not like they're gonna be the AI is gonna have to guess what it should look like. You could give the computer this is what it should look like, right? I mean, can't they give them that picture as well? And then it's like, okay, it tries to make it as close to that scene or whatever. I don't know. That's just really exciting technology, and I think the AI is going to really take off when it just starts doing stuff that we just take for granted that's going on in the real world, because everything's so static when you go in there. Like, I mean, everything's is what it is. Nothing moves that shouldn't be moving. It's kind of like I tell customers all the time that we've as humans we've become ordained, or we've became accustomed to nothing should be moving in our house unless we've ordained it to be moving, whether it be a pet or family members. You know, we shouldn't have strangers walking around. There should be no bugs crawling on the wall. These are the little things that just start happening. Like, what if you just had a regular game and spider comes out of nowhere and crawls across the wall just in randomness, or just little random things that you're used to seeing in real life? I think it will add that bit of immersion. And I think AI is going to be a game changer when it really, really gets implemented. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, well, apparently we're a lot closer than anybody realized, and we saw it, kind of a demonstration of it at the last, OC6 during Michael Abrash's talk. You know, he comes on there every year and talks about the future of VR as a technology. And this last year, he talked at length about eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering. And one of the talks that tied into that was this kind of machine learning approach to super sampling and predictive rendering of a scene. And they kind of had a demonstration that I kind of just felt like it was a hypothetical, but apparently it wasn't. Apparently they've got a very good working algorithm already. And what you just said there was immediately where my head went to as well. So if they can do that on a mobile processor, what are they going to be able to do with the home computer? It's going to be amazing, right? When it all comes together, when the eye tracking and the dynamic foveated rendering and the machine learning, along with the 5G and the increases in wireless technology, and then the optical, what are the varifocal lenses? When all of this stuff comes together into a next generation product, I think that Oculus might just swallow the VR industry as a whole.
Yeah, I agree, and that's one of the things that kind of ties into the simulation theory, really, because you have to get the technology to the point where you could be in the virtual reality and not be able to tell the difference between reality and non-reality, and we're getting close to it. I mean, we're maybe 5-10 years away to the point where we might not be walking on some, like in whatever that VR movie. I always forget the damn movie name.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One. But I think you'll be in there thinking everything looks just as real. So.
Yeah, well, we're getting there, man. If they could only get the VR treadmill, get it right, get it down to a suitable form factor and price. I feel like everything else is kind of, it's getting there. The haptic suits are getting there. The gloves are getting there. The headsets are shrinking. The developers are getting better at making software. We really are coming into the golden age of VR, we all predicted it, but it's kind of cool to see it actually happening now.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, as far as Dreams goes here, again, coming on, what did I say, July 22nd, so not very long to wait. And before we actually get to see what uh, Media Molecule actually has in store for us here, again, my expectations were quite low for Dream support on PS4. So just the fact that they have anything that's you know, that's playable that can get through Sony QA, it's promising, and I look forward to seeing not only what Media Molecule has been able to do, but what the larger Dreamverse has been able to do or will be able to do with the new tools that they're being given.
Yeah, that's what, man, the modders. I was just having this conversation with my son about Alex, and I'm excited about what's coming out with the VR mods. And, you know, we see what modders have done for contractors. I thought the same thing as rendered reality. I enjoyed it as far as a game, but like I didn't enjoy the game mode, but it died. And now the mods are bringing it back, and it's 10 times better than it ever was. And so I'm excited to see what people's ingenuity can do in this engine.
Yeah, man. It's nice to have something like that on console. You know, people have been modding and doing things like that on PC for years, but it's cool as we come into a new console generation. Not only are we seeing that people are going to have a lot of power at their disposal with these next gen consoles, but now, at least in this one case with Dreams, they're going to have the tools necessary to put it to work. I wonder, you know, it's not a given that that the PS5 version of Dreams is going to be included for people that bought the PS4 version. You know, Sony's leaving that up to developers whether or not they want to support such a program. And we really haven't heard anything with Dreams, so it's going to be interesting to see going forward if I'm going to actually have to buy this thing again.
Tyler's throwing a contractors challenge down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get the chat back up here. I don't have it.
He's coming in there. He's saying he heard something about a contractors challenge, but no, I hear that you're coming in to challenge. I heard you guys will wreck us though. That you got gun stocks and stuff.
Yeah. We're not. Let's be very clear here. When I say we're going to hold our own, I mean just that. We'll hold our own, but in no means do we feel like we're going to be any kind of real challenge, except for a few of our dudes here are pretty damn good, I got to say.
Yeah, Spry Guy and Scion. Actually, everybody's pretty good. It's fun times. Monthly, I do warn you if you play with Ruuts, he screams when he dies. So,
yeah. Prepare to hear a lot of F-bombs, not only from Ruuts, but from myself as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're down. We're game. So, I think they said some of them were going to play a little bit later this evening, but I'm down all week, dude. We can get it. You want it? We can get it, son.
Oh, those maps are so fun.
Anyway, so I guess this would be a good time to remind everyone that if you too want to join the conversation and join the game, the Discord is there's an invitation to our Discord down in the description below, and you can join in. You all are invited. Let's see how big we can get this thing and how full we can get the lobby.
I want a full lobby. I want a completely full lobby, and I want to be on Science team. So
he says, River Reality says screaming is encouraged. Well, I'll just say that sometimes the screaming isn't voluntary, sir. And I predict that there's going to be loads of involuntary screaming going on when we murder you and your community for ever suggesting that you could roll with us.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's almost the same community.
Yeah, I know, right? A lot of the same people, right?
Yeah.
Coffee makes me better. Coffee makes everything better.
Yeah. I need to get more coffee, but I figured I'd make my second pot for the second podcast. So
yeah, you're gonna be brewing it up by the gallon today, huh?
Yeah.
Best of 3, dude. I'd say it's probably gonna turn into like a best of 300 if I had to guess, Tyler.
Well, I don't know if I but see, there's something about the Canadian connection though, Scion. But yeah,
well, Scion's a double agent.
Yeah.
He's good. We got to keep our eye on him, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So Dream's not the only fairly significant PSVR news that we got this week because we actually learned, Roots, it's odd. We learned a long time ago that budget cuts was going to be coming to PSVR. It was originally scheduled to drop back in May, but when it didn't hit, they just kind of, kicked the can down the road and said, okay, so now it's coming in July due to world events.
Mm.
Um, but it was only like a week or two ago that they gave us the date of July 10th. But almost as soon as they gave us that date, they came right back around again behind it and said, you know what? Not July 10th, September 25th,
Oh, Jesus.
which is odd because it's such a long way away.
Uh,
I could understand them like saying, "All right, we're ready. Oh, give us another week, give us another 2 weeks." But they were like, "Okay, we're ready. Oh, never mind. Give us 2 more months," which I think is strange. Or am I off base here?
no, that's very strange. I mean, you would be imagine you'd be very aware that if you needed a couple months, and if you're ready, I could see a slight delay, but a couple months, I don't know, man. And the fact that it happened and then immediately happened right after it is bizarre as well. But I don't know. Maybe they're trying to distance their game between something or trying to time it for something.
I think that's exactly what's happening here. I think that they understand that perception is everything when you're launching a VR game, and especially when you're launching a port rather, that's been this long in development. I mean, this is the first original budget cuts game coming to PlayStation, not the sequel. I mean, this game's been around forever, so I think they know that when they come, they better bring it, right? So that's exactly what they're going to do. And I think that's why they're postponing the release until September, is because they have a ton of new content that's going to be releasing with the PlayStation VR version um, that has not only a new level that they've called Panopticon, but there's also going to be a brand new arcade mode built with a quote fully modeled and interactive arcade machine. So this budget cuts PSVR version, not just going to be the budget cuts that we all know, but it's going to have a whole new level made quote with PSVR specifically in mind. And not only is there a new level, but there's going to be new game modes as well.
That's weird. I mean, it's cool. It's weird that they would add something special for them and leave us PC people out. It's rude. But
Well, I will say this: the VR media kind of reported this as if the uh, the new level is going to be a PSVR exclusive. I read multiple articles that said that,
hmm,
but they're all based off of this PlayStation blog post that I went and read myself. And there's nothing in there that says that this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. All it says is that it was designed with PSVR in
hmm.
mind. That doesn't say exclusive to me, and I don't think for a second that this is going to be a PSVR exclusive. I think that within a couple of weeks of seeing this come to PSVR, you're going to see it on PC as well.
Okay, I'm not pissed anymore. And I just read something in the chat that blew my mind, and I didn't even know it existed. That and Mepper said was asking if Grip from Twitch Prime cross plays with Grip from other sources. I didn't know Grip had a free copy of on Twitch Prime because I've got Overload. That's how I've played Overload in VR was from Twitch Prime. It's kind of interesting, Mepper. I didn't know that Grip did that, so we'll have to find out. Definitely check the Discord because we do play Grip a lot. And yes, VR Spry Guy is right. I do scream and when I die in Grip as well. So, man, I'm not screaming
Yeah, I just
obscenities. I'm just
curse
screaming.
const.
Well, usually it's a screaming noise. It's like it's just like it's involuntary. I've always done it, so don't judge me. So
Yeah, I just curse uncontrollably when I play Grip because those guys they're in there at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I've played it 3 or 4 times total. So like when I'm in there and they're on all these expert tracks, like I can't even keep my car on the track. That game's so fast. I just go flying off in every direction, and I just curse nonstop.
That's why I always advocate to Scion for us to throw in Night Bowl, which is just a general circle, because it gives chances for people like you and me that are going to lose every time a chance to maybe win once, because we're not having these elaborate tracks, right? So
Yeah, and he hates the idea that his advantage is being taken away. You know, he earned that advantage, Roots. He put in the time, bro.
yeah, that's true.
If you want to hang with him, you got to put in the time as well.
All right, I'm starting right now. Let me stop the stream. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, let me ask you. You know, they went into a little bit of detail telling us about this Panopticon level for budget cuts, and it seems like a different takes, different than the existing budget cuts gameplay style. Basically, it's a big circular level. The idea is to get to the center. There's a green room, literally green room in the center of the map that you can see from many different points in the level. You can see where you're going, and it's up to you how you get there. They've basically they're playing on the dynamic of stealth versus gung ho aggressiveness, and that the dilemma, that debate we all have whenever we go into a stealth game, whether or not we should actually be stealthy or whether or not we should just blow the bad guys' faces off. That's kind of the idea that this level's built around, that your choices are going to determine your path to the center of the level. Again, very different to existing budget cuts, very stealth oriented gameplay. Are you interested in returning to budget cuts to check out a new level, even if it isn't the budget cuts that you're used to?
Sure. I mean, I'm not tied to the way the budget cuts was originally. I think it's interesting because, I would go more stealth because you saw what happened with that first guy's shot. That's me missing with those knives. And if you're really good at nailing those shots, it would be really cool to go through and just go gung ho, killing them and make your way through to the center. I'm going to be missing them, and then they come running over and start screaming in your face, and then they kill you, and then Root screams, and then we start over again. So, but yeah, it sounds interesting.
I feel like now would be a good time. It'd be great if this level were available now, because I'm trained, right? I've been playing Phantom Covert Ops, and I'm very much trained to play using a stealth tactic now. Even though it is so much fun to snipe people in that game, you're rewarded for being stealthy. So right now I'm in that stealth mind frame. I don't know if I'll still be here when September rolls around.
Do you grab for your visor in budget cuts and realize that you don't have it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, isn't it interesting how similar the premise is from a gameplay perspective between Phantom Covert Ops and a game like Aspire 1? And Phantom Covert Ops just nailed it, and it's so much fun, but the Aspire 1 is just kind of okay,
Isn't it funny too, because you hear from the same people like Scion or other people that have never played it. Even my son was kind of crapping on it because he heard that you were in a kayak. That just the difference between the two games, like Aspire 1, you can move everywhere, you can climb everything, but it was okay. It just didn't do what it was supposed to do. Whereas, yeah, you're limited to the kayak, but it's the immersion, the feel, the guns, just everything about the gameplay nailed it. It's just a totally different experience. But yet it doesn't have what everybody says it should have, which is getting out of the kayak. And it's just weird to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those situations like Freediver, right? Where you have this, the whole game is kind of built around this mechanic, and it's so well done that you'd love to see it just be an aspect of a larger game, right? Where like in Freediver, you have the swimming mechanic and the diving mechanic. That would be a great couple of levels in a larger adventure game. And I feel like they've kind of got the same thing going on here with Phantom Covert Ops. A great game, one of the best games of the year. But just how epic would it be to have a larger, a larger adventure that is on this level production-wise, that has certain levels of the kayak mechanic that the game's built around. today.
I think Phantom Covert Ops struggles in this way. Really, the only way every game that struggles would be that's kind of based on a similar type of game is everybody wants Metal Gear in VR. And so if it's not exactly Metal Gear in VR, it's like they shit on it. And even though it's amazing and it's own different in its own right, but I think that happens a lot as well.
Yeah, I think stealth's a hard genre to get right, to be quite honest, especially in VR, and especially today's day and age, because it takes a certain amount of patience to be stealthy. Rendered Reality says it here in the chat. He says, I have a hard time being stealth. I just want to take everyone out. That's my problem, right? That's the reason why I'm so lukewarm on Aspire 1. I mean, Aspire 1 from a production standpoint is a great game. It works well. There's a lot of variety to what you can do. The only problem is that it's supposed to be a stealth game, and I don't want to play it that way. I just go in there and kill everyone, and the game really it penalizes you for doing it, much like Phantom Covert Ops. Whereas in Phantom Covert Ops, I can play stealth, and it's fun. I just can't seem to make myself do it in Aspire 1. It's just so fun to kill everyone.
You don't have somebody lecturing you. If somebody stopped you every time and said, look, you're not supposed to be killing these guys, like in Phantom Covert Ops.
Right.
I got lectured a couple times, and I thought, I guess I'm not supposed to be killing these guys. And they do limit your ammo, so I never ran out of ammo, but I would imagine that would suck. So.
Yeah, but I mean, Aspire 1, just one of quite a few examples of stealth not really hitting the mark in VR. I mean, think about Rogan. That was one of the better ones, and it's still just okay, right?
Yeah. There's been a lot of stealth. Intruders was a really good stealth one as far as the stealth version, and they penalized you. They made you not want to get caught. And those guys were quick, man. They ran over there pretty damn fast. Kind of like the budget cuts guys. It's like when they notice you, he gives you a second of where they look, and then all of a sudden they're high booking it towards you. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess budget cuts, intruders, these are some of the better examples of stealth. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do when given an option, right? Because that's kind of, again, that's what the Panopticon level is built around, is your choice. It's up to you how you want to play it.
Yep.
And I feel like that's a good it's a good thing to build a level like this around, because it gives it replayability, right? You can play it one time one way and then come back in and take the other approach and play through the whole thing again.
Yeah, definitely a lot of replayability for that reason. So
what time is it?
Quote time. I thought about it, Wes. I need to find somebody saying quote time or something. I need to find a visual or something, because it deserves it. It's quote time.
I think I could come up with something. I'll send you a clip. I've got something in mind that might work okay for what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, I just want to make it a momentous occasion, because a lot of people get excited over quote time out there.
Hey, dude, there's always some wisdom being dropped in quote time. We put it here for a reason, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so this is Ole Axelson, the game designer behind Budget Cuts from Neat Corporation. And I quote, "With Panopticon, we wanted to put the player's journey and the importance of choice at the core of levels design. We wanted to encourage the player to pave their own path forward, either through brute force and action, or through stealth and sneaking their way around in order to reach the center of the level." So, I found it interesting, that they've put this emphasis on choice, and the circular design level, the use of color. These are the things that they were touting in the original PlayStation blog post that I read about this in. Um, and again, they said that they're implementing these things in with PlayStation VR in mind, and it just makes me wonder, you know, how is this going to tie in to PlayStation VR's limitations? Because that's what they're talking about when they talk about designing something with PSVR in mind. They're talking about getting around the limited tracking volume and well, I don't need to list down PSVR's flaws, but when you hear people talking about designing levels with PSVR in mind, we know what they really mean, right? They mean that they're finding workarounds to get around the deficiencies of the platform. So I'm really interested to see how this level design and this approach is going to alleviate some of that, because just sitting here and thinking about it, going off of what they said, I really don't see the correlation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. My eyes were opened up. Like I said, everything goes back to contractors in 2020. Um, but just how changing, just adding game modes, changing different graphics or whatever, making it feel different. Maybe this round level is like so cool or so different, or something that really is unique that everybody really loves it. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what it is. But I just think it's cool that they're still, adding to it, especially for a new release. So they could have easily just ported it over. They didn't need to add extra stuff. So
Yeah, and when you consider with the uh, the updates that they've already given, the budget cuts, the original budget cuts, right? Because uh, I'm not so sure if it's going to be available on PlayStation VR at launch, but at least in the PC version, they implemented a lot of the updates from the sequel, right, into the original. So when you think about that, the fact that they've overhauled pretty much the whole game, and now they're adding in new content to it, it makes you wonder, imagine you're new to VR coming in and you want to buy one of them. How do you pick, right? It seems like they're supporting the original more than they're supporting the new one.
I like the original better. But my question is, when are you going to get into the original? You've never played Budget Cut 1 yet. Budget Cuts 1. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny that I'm saying this so long after the game has launched, but I guess I'm going to wait on it to be a finished product, right?
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, well, you're just going to take a page out of Alex's book and, make sure it's got a proper release. So,
yeah, we may never get there, Roots.
yeah,
I just don't know. I can't commit right now, okay?
there's too many good games out there.
Hey, there is, and some good games are getting a whole hell of a lot better. Case in point, Angry Birds Isle of Pigs. When you talk about support for a game in the form of additional content, very few games have been supported the way that Resolution Games has supported Angry Birds Isle of Pigs. Of course, when it released with its 4 base levels. Soon after that, they had the Spooky update, which, by the way, not only were there 4 more levels there, 2 of which we're still waiting on, unless I'm mistaken, but the with the Spooky update came new block types and a whole lot of variety, not only in the levels, the level diversity, but the puzzles as well. Really, it picks up where the original game left off and builds upon it. And when they added in the Spooky update, that's when the Isle of Pigs became really one of the best palette cleansers in VR. And then from there, they added in a level builder so that you can share your levels. You can create your own levels and share them with your kids, your wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, what have you. Well, now they're taking that level builder and they're going online with it. So much like the promise of dreams that we were talking about at the top of the show, we're getting a similar promise from Angry Birds Isle of Pigs in that from now on, it's going to be this endless source of quality VR content. And man, when you consider the changes that have come to this game since it first launched. It's like night and day, and I feel like Resolution Games deserves a lot of credit for the game that they've built here.
Yeah, because you said it, the game was already really amazing, worth buying to begin with, and then they added all the extra levels, which too we haven't even seen yet, which I would guess is around Halloween time. And then now you've got the community, and we this is kind of the theme we're going back to today for some reason. I guess it's just the theme of VR anymore. But games like this, especially, or contractors, or any games where you can have the community create different things. I mean, it really opens this up. This game became a no-brainer to buy, because if you didn't even like the way that they presented the levels to begin with, you can create your own, or you can check out the community. So it gives you a lot of options, pretty much unlimited gameplay. And I mean, look at that tower that guy just took. It looks like it took him about 5 seconds to build it. Like, who doesn't want to play that level? But no, it's just really cool. And that's one of the things that bugged me about Angry Birds in general, because like if you're playing on the phone, most of the games you have a lot of birds to choose from. You can pick and choose. This game was designed as, this is the bird you're using right now, and so this just opens it up. I like the fact that you're picking your birds, and maybe it'll give you the option to where you can have the level set up and you can actually pick your birds as well in the game versus building it. So I just think it adds a lot of versatility and makes me want to go back in it and check out some of VR Spry Guy's amazing levels he's going to build.
Hey, Roots, let me ask you, do you know who else likes to have a lot of birds to choose from?
I think your mom. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we kind of said it earlier with Dreams. Loads of potential when you're depending upon the community for content. I feel like it goes to say tenfold for something like Angry Birds Isle of Pigs, because where Dreams is confined to one platform and one community, Angry Birds Isle of Pigs is on everything, man. It's on PSVR, it's on Quest, it's on PCVR, it's on Steam and Oculus. I mean, it's everywhere. So when you look at the possibilities, I mean, it just grows exponentially, right? With all of these extra people in there, I got to imagine we're going to see some really elaborate levels on this, and much to my mom's delight, a nonstop, endless supply of birds.
Yeah, who doesn't love birds?
Anyway, what you were saying about the guy's level there that apparently you weren't very impressed with, you're not going to have to worry about that too much, because like Dreams, the Angry Birds Isle of Pigs community is going to be able to rank levels so that others can browse and play new ones based on popularity, difficulty, or uploaded time.
I can't make any levels now because I can't take the rejection, Wes, because I know I'll get like a 1 star and they'll be like, this is the worst level ever, don't do it. Because it would be like really simple. So.
Well, I mean, you basically, a lot of people, all they do is play Super Mario Maker, right? And they make levels for it, and I mean, there are literally hundreds of people who are known for their quality Mario levels that they share through Super Mario Maker 2 now at this point. So I kind of feel like the same thing can be said about Angry Birds as or the same approach to level making should be taken, where the people who are really serious about making levels for this game, they're not going to upload it until it's ready, right? They'll work on it forever if need be before they get something that's worth sharing. And I would give you the same advice. If you're going to make a level and you're worried about rejection, just don't share it until it's ready.
I'll be sitting there waiting to share it forever. Just got to put it out there.
It's going to be like just like one column, right? One like large column that goes into the sky, and then like just like 3 of the red birds.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's an elaborate level right there, man. That guy just did it. He's like, I did it.
It is. I mean, if you close your eyes, you can imagine anything being there. I mean, like that could be the Tower of Sauron, Roots.
Yeah, that's true. I'd love to build the Tower of Sauron in there and have people destroy it. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, who doesn't love the Temple of Sauron, though,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs level builder update is live today
Oh, wow.
for Oculus Quest and Rift, HTC Vive, Valve Index, Windows Mixed Reality, and it's available on the Oculus, Steam, and Viveport stores, respectively. Just what I was saying, man. This game is it's everywhere. However, Resolution Games has said that the PSVR version will be released soon, but there's no date at the moment.
Well, at least they're not just pushing it back months. They're just saying we're just not sure.
Right. Well, yeah, I kind of tend to believe them when they say soon, right? You know, one of the perks of doing this show for the last, year and a half, however long it's been now, is getting to know some of these developers. And I got to say that the people at Resolution Games, some of the most professional people that I've dealt with since we started doing this. So if they say it's coming soon, I wholeheartedly believe that we're going to have it soon.
Yeah, me too.
Ray Pope says, "Oh shit, late to the party again." Grr, Ray, you're always right on time, brother. We don't always show up when we say we're supposed to anyway. So how could we ask that of our viewers?
Yeah, I don't see that comment. Is it way up there? Did I miss it?
Ray Pope, it's the most recent comment that I'm seeing.
Oh, so my thing's changed to top chat and not live chat. Hey, what's going on, Ray Pope? Oh shit, late to the party again.
So apparently Ray Pope's chat doesn't make the cut, right?
Yeah,
it's not the top chat.
You're not top chat yet, Ray. You just kind of squeezed in here. You got to, do a couple more things, jump through some hoops, and you could be top chat, I guess. I don't know what the difference is there. I'm glad I got it on live chat, though. Yeah. Very true.
Practice and get better at that chatting, bro. If you want to be among the top chatters,
or
like
you need to show up on time, not partially through that.
Oh no, plenty of show left to go, Roots. Plenty of show left to go. Plenty of games left to talk about. Namely, one that, quite honestly, I was surprised to hear about, especially when you read the description of what this game actually is, and that is Mortal Blitz Combat Arena. So a few days ago, Sony's head of independent development studios, Shuhei Yoshida, revealed during a Japanese indie event, Bit Summit Gaiden 2020, that a free-to-play shooter, Mortal Blitz Combat Arena, would be coming to PlayStation VR. So, for those of you who don't know, Mortal Blitz was a Gen 1 VR game. It was a very early VR game. I'm not sure exactly what year that it came out, but it's been around forever. And I've never played it, so, chat enlighten me here. But I've always kind of thought of Mortal Blitz as this linear, story-driven action game. So when I see them coming out now with a sequel that's kind of a multiplayer arena, it's a bit of a head-scratcher to me. Maybe, again, I've never played it. Maybe I'm just wrong about what that game actually was. But it seems like the sequel here is completely different than what the original game was.
Yeah, it's really weird too the way they're fighting. Like they're stuck to that spot, but they're teleporting spot to spot, but then they're defending that little node or something. I don't know. I've never played it either. Never even heard of it. But it looks interesting for sure. It's free, right?
Apparently it's free, which was it's odd. You kind of get mixed signals here with this game. That when we first heard of it, or heard about it, this game was reported as a PlayStation VR exclusive that's free to play, strictly a multiplayer, arena, battle arena. But come to find out, this game is not going to be a PSVR exclusive forever. This game is coming to PCVR as well. And it's not just a multiplayer game either. There is also going to be a single player mode that features a 15+ mission campaign across normal, hard, and expert difficulty levels. So if they've really developed not only a fully fleshed out multiplayer battle arena, on top of a 15 mission
Hmm.
single player campaign, I find it hard to believe that we're going to be able to access all of that content absolutely free of charge. I don't believe it. I think that much like the PSVR exclusivity, I think that that part of it might turn out to be not so accurate as well.
Well, that's my first question: is who the hell's funding this, man? Like, if it's free out there and you expect it to be good at all, somebody's got to be paying for it, right? Or it's going to be indie jank fest garbage from hell. Maybe not, but if it's free, that somebody's got to be funding it. So I'm just curious to know who's doing that, and maybe it'll be good. I mean, it's free. You'll have no reason not to try it. And it's also got a campaign, which means that people will at least want to try that and then maybe get into the combat access as well. So
I think we could see a situation here like we saw with the Archangel, the Hellfire multiplayer thing that they added in. The multiplayer was free to play, right? Everyone could play it, but if you want to play the story campaign, you got to throw down that $20. Maybe we got something like that going on here.
Yeah, maybe. What did your son think of the Archangel story? Oh yeah, he doesn't like that kid died, right?
His son, man, his son got killed, Roots. It's very upsetting for him.
I just think that's great. That's just a typical. That's how my son would have been. Like, I don't like that. So
yeah, he hasn't went back into it ever since he saw that little boy get killed. He was like, no, not for me. He'll play Rush of Blood, no problem. People getting sawed in half, no big deal. But you're gonna kill his boy, his son that he loves? No way.
Not me, man. I was ready to go in and start attacking. Like, screw you! You killed my son, boy. So.
Anyway, Mortal Blitz Combat Arena. Core multiplayer mode will feature quick match, 2 to 4 players, ranked match, and event match options. Matches take place in arenas filled with hexagonal platforms with light barriers activated once you step on them. So you're going to be teleporting node to node, much like that tower tag that just came out. Only when you finally make it to the platform, the shield's going to pop up around you, but it doesn't last forever. It's destructible, right? So you're not going to be able to just camp out. You're going to have to keep moving.
Well, it sounds interesting. So,
yeah, absolutely. Players are able to customize their characters and loadouts from the color of their armor to the weapons, including a machine gun, minigun, rocket launcher, shotgun, and railgun. So it looks like, unlike tower tag, there's going to be some variance here, right? Some variability, not only to the gameplay, but to the cosmetic options as well.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it could be really good. I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, but the only thing that really weirds me out about it, like I said, such a departure from what my idea of what Mortal Blitz was. Did you get a chance to play Mortal Blitz?
I did not, actually. I had never even heard of it until now. Just to throw a what's up to Gamertag is in the house. Just strolled in. Oh
yeah. Oh, see, this is the I want to go ahead and apologize to the chat. I normally print my notes and I have them in front of me, which allows me to look at the chat. But my printer, my ink cartridge is out, and it will not give me my notes today. So I have to choose, Roots. I have to choose between reading off my show notes or reading the chat. So what's up? What's up to everyone that I'm missing? Gamertag. Whoever else might be in there. Thanks for showing up, guys. And sorry I can't really keep my eye on it like I normally do.
No, man, you're the news. You're the information behind the show. Like, you're how I get my news, Wes. I get my VR news from you, dude.
Hey, man, that's case in point. Sometimes I feel weird, offering up our show notes as a bonus for our Patreon supporters. But I mean, it's pretty informative. If you read my show notes, you can keep up pretty well with what's going on in VR gaming, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
That's what we're here for. We're here to inform people, Roots. We're here to make sure that we have the most knowledgeable uh, viewer group or community in VR. And
Yeah.
I'm quite proud of our community and the fact that they always have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in VR gaming.
Yeah, Wes is VR news. I agree, Gamertag. He does have his. I was just telling my son today. I said, Wes really has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in virtual reality. So awesome co-host.
Well, to be honest, I'm just regurgitating stuff from a handful of different VR news websites. As much as I like getting on here and playing journalist, those guys are the ones that really deserve the credit. People like Upload VR, Road to VR, VR Focus, and Arthans. Those are the ones that I go to most of the time.
Yep.
Those are the guys that are doing the real work. I'm just sitting here and pretending to know what I'm talking about.
We're playing. We're pretending. Yeah.
West News Scion says. It's fake news, bro. Fake news.
I do just want to have fun over G's. Just show up, do the show, talk about VR, enjoy it. I do. I miss some of the shows I don't watch as I probably should go back to them. Don't watch as much as I used to because I don't want to try not to taint my opinion with other people's. But yeah, you miss some good communities out there. So
Onakazi says that Mortal Blitz is $6 during the Steam sale. So that's the original. Am I right? Or I've never played it again, but if I recall correctly, that's a very linear, story-driven action game, right? Just like kind of a shooter.
$6.
Something completely different than what they're offering up in this new title.
Yeah, true.
Rendered Reality says it's almost as fun to talk about VR as it is to play VR. And that's true, especially when you're living in times like we are now. Now, I might not have agreed with you, say, in early 2018. Remember when VR was dead way back when all the games were tech demos and VR was this, expensive, unattainable thing for the general public. But now, today, I mean, there's different hardware news every day. There's new games every day. I mean,
games worth talking about in 2018.
Exactly. We could do a whole show right now, like do a whole hour to an hour and a half, just talking about games that we know are coming this year, but we don't know when. Games that could drop at any moment. Games like The Walking Dead Onslaught or After the Fall or Sniper Elite VR. And, I could keep going. Undead Citadel. There's so many great games coming this year. It's just a great time to be a VR enthusiast.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think maybe we should be, what I was going to say. But no, I agree 100%.
Yeah, Gamertag says everyone follows news from news sources such as Upload. As long as we credit them, we're all good. And anyway, we just present it better. Boy, do we, man. That's kind of what we do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Oh, yeah, man.
Go
ahead.
I was saying Rendered Reality says that 2016 was rough. He was refreshing Oculus and Steam page every day to see if something good came out. I noticed this myself yesterday when I was putting together the free stuff and killer deals segment, and I was looking through the PlayStation catalog. I can remember in my head, I can remember back when when you looked at the number of titles that's in the catalog, when it was stuck right before it got to 300. It seems like it took it forever to get from 290 to 300. And today it's approaching 650 titles on the PSVR store. So what growth we've had since then, right?
Yeah, I don't think I could do this show in 2018 early because that's when I came into VR, and I even feel like just the change from when we started the show to now is like we're slowly having to play some of the worst games. There was like a point, especially early on, where it was like you have to play what's out there, man. This is it. This is what you get. And it was like, but I don't like that. It'd be like somebody giving you a meal and saying, here's your food. And you're like, that's my least favorite food in the world, but I got to eat. Now we're at a point now where there's so many good games coming out. Sometimes we have a hard time choosing what we're going to play. And don't get me wrong, it's not like flat games where there's like 20 really amazing titles, but we're getting there. And I think we're just on the cusp of dual releases, VR/flat, in games that we have no idea are ever going to be in VR. I think we're like right on the edge of just going, oh my God, that's coming to VR, because of the PlayStation 5. So.
Yeah, we've certainly become spoiled over the last year to 18 months, pretty much since the the new headset reveals, the Quest, the Index, the Rift S. Ever since then, we've got a torrent of new VR games, many of which are AAA quality level. And honestly, Roots, I feel like if another game didn't come out right now, it was the end. I feel like it would take me probably a year to just to play through my backlog, right?
Absolutely. And Greg's VR says EA jumping in could be a catalyst. And I think, if anything, it's more of a telltale sign of where we're at. You're seeing the big game. These companies are now, because of Valve, have decided, wow, and Quest, this is a viable avenue to go down. And then, of course, you have, everything else going on, a lot of weirdness with the virus and stuff. It's shifted a lot of focus and a lot of allocations. And I think we're right on the cusp of VR becoming mainstream. So.
Well, we get closer every day, and I don't know when it's going to happen, next month, next year, 2 years from now, but whenever Sony makes their next big move for PSVR, their next big VR push, I feel like that's going to be a big time, not only from their first party studios, but from people like EA, the big game houses of the world. I feel like we're just getting started with Gen 2 VR, and it's about to get even a whole lot better than it even is today.
Absolutely. And Gamertag says he wrote a review for Iron Man VR today, made him a little sad reading it back, asked if we've talked about Iron Man VR, which Wes is the only one that's going to, at least at this point, that's going to be playing it. But he said you're going to talk about it tomorrow, right?
We spoke on it briefly, GT, but mainly all I spoke about was how it's getting mixed reviews and mixed feelings from people. You can tell that people really want to like it, but it has some pretty glaring flaws. But I'm going to talk about it at length tomorrow on the Monday show, because that's just generally how we normally do it. We talk about what we've been playing on Monday. Occasionally we break that. But I haven't really had time to dive into it like it deserves yet. So we're going to talk about Iron Man VR tomorrow. But I got to imagine, by the way that you said that there, that you're that you're having some of the same reservations that it seems like everyone else is having about it.
Gamertag, he just wants to keep me in suspense, and he said, "You're just gonna have to wait one more day, Roots, to know what I think," and it's not nice.
Honestly, I just haven't had time to play it all that much. It released on Friday, and like I said, I went back to work this week. I've been working. I came home on Friday with the intention of playing it, but it didn't pre-install like I expected it would. I pre-ordered it. I expected it to be ready to go, but when I was ready to go, it wasn't. And it's like a 50 gigabyte download. So I started it to downloading, and I went. Instead of playing that, I went and played Half-Life Alyx, and I finally finished Half-Life Alyx.
Oh wow, how was that? What are your thoughts on Half-Life Alyx? Do you think it was as the ending?
Well, I don't want to get too spoilery about it, but I'll just say that that final chapter, that chapter 11, I absolutely loved it, and it had nothing to do with the story. I'm not one of these Half-Life fanboys. I didn't come from PC gaming. I never played Half-Life games before Half-Life Alyx. With that said, that last level was so cool. You've heard me say it a million times. I love playing in these surreal, dreamlike environments, and that very much is what's going on at the end of that game.
Yeah, it was definitely surreal for sure. Well, that's cool, man. One thing that my son came in and wanted to play Minecraft. Well, actually, I showed him the Rift S, and I was just showed it to him, and he put it on, which he usually doesn't play VR, and then he just clicked on Minecraft and went in, and because he's a big Minecraft person, and so he was really enjoying that. And then he started talking to me about Fallout 4 because he had played it back in the day, and it got me thinking I need to. So I'm going to go back into it, Wes. I re-downloaded Fallout 4. I don't think I've seen it with my either that Rift S or the 2080. So I want to see if the performance is any better, what it looks like, and how it runs. So
Yeah, I've been itching to get back into Fallout 4 lately as well. It's just this goes back to what I was just saying a moment ago. I could play for a year, literally, on my backlog and be just fine. I could probably make it halfway through a year just with Fallout and Skyrim alone, right?
yeah, it's crazy.
Not to mention Asgard's Wrath. I mean, good lord.
There's too much, man. Stormland. We still got to play through some Stormland.
Oh yeah, I guess this would be a good time to inform the patrons, the people that support us on Patreon, what we have in store for you coming up this week. The Money Show #3 is coming, and we had quite the idea, and I guess we're going to kind of trial run it on the Patreon on the Money Show, and if it turns out to be as cool as I think it's going to be, maybe we start producing some content for the larger channel. But we're going to discuss topics like we normally do on our the Monday show or the Money Show. But instead of sitting in front of a camera and doing it, we're going to do it while we're blasting bad guys' faces off. So we're going to start going into these games, talking about the issues of the day, whatever they may be. Generally, the Money Show, we talk about things that don't come up on our other shows. But the whole time that we're going to be talking about it, we're also going to be playing some game and trying to multitask. So it should be interesting. This week, as Ruuts said, we're going to be recording live from Stormland. So we're going to be talking about a few different topics, and at the same time, we're going to be flying around and trying to free ourselves from these evil bastards that have taken over our world.
I'm excited because I get to show Wes the further Stormland, because it's there's so much to that game, and you've just scratched the surface because you like to roam and search, and this is going to be a killer mission. We're going to be killing shit. So
yeah, we're going to be killing shit and dropping knowledge at the same time, Ruuts. I look forward to trying this out. I think it could, if we time our conversations to be in line with the action in the game, I feel like it could be a very interesting watch.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, patrons, stay tuned for that. Money Show #3 coming up this week. The Money Show from Stormlands, Ruuts. I love it.
I love it too. It's a good idea.
Gamertag says that you guys got to try Alien Isolation of VR. Yeah, man, I just started it recently, and man, I'm not used to that flat game pacing. I put 4 or 5 hours into it, and I feel like I've barely done anything. Now, don't get me wrong, a load of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's just so slow compared to what I'm used to. VR games, half of them are over with by that point. And to have that kind of time in and just barely move the story along, it's I don't know. It feels slow to me.
Yeah. Well, what isn't slow is Stormland, and I agree with Onakazi. It's so good. How has he not finished it? I ask you that too, Onakazi. How have you not finished it, bro? You need a Scion to go with you. That's how I finished it. But it's always more fun with other people. So.
Yeah, I can't talk. I haven't finished it either, and I point to the other games as the reason why. I have 20 great games that I've almost finished. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to make more of an effort. Like with Half-Life this past Friday, when I'm sitting here trying to uh, you know, decide which game I want to play. There's so many. I'm trying to make an effort to go to the ones that I'm closest to finishing, so I can start to knock some of these games off my list because it's a daunting task. There's so many great games.
And Ray Schwartz says Sony bought Storm's Land IP, didn't it? Right. Obviously, like I just said, that they did bought Insomniac, which is good because we have a good chance of seeing the next Spider-Man game in VR, in my opinion. Just because they've, the last one was so good, so well received. They've got the platform. Why not throw it in VR and it would blow up? And I guarantee it would be a system seller. So.
Oh yeah, that would be great. If they were to make a VR a Spider-Man game. I mean, we saw the potential for it, right? With that free demo, it wasn't necessarily from Insomniac, but we saw the possibilities of what a good Spider-Man game might look like in that free demo that Sony released last year.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. That must not have been important. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up the talk with Mortal Blitz Combat Arena here just by reminding everyone that the PlayStation VR version is going to see a beta launch in August, followed by an official release in September, but the PC VR edition does not have a date at the moment. So this one's kind of going in reverse of what we normally see with these cross-platform games, and it's actually coming to PSVR first. And it's going to be coming to PC later.
That's not fair.
I agree, Ruuts. Yeah, it's not fair.
It's rude.
Actually, it's totally fair. It's the PC normally gets 99 times out of 100 PC gets things first. So,
is it the sign of the future with the new PlayStation 5 being superior to PCs? Oh.
Ruuts, you're gonna get us banned again, bro.
Oh, that's right.
What you're saying?
Oh yeah, I gotta watch what I'm saying. Never mind.
Anyway, so the last couple of weeks, you guys, I've kind of detailed a laundry list of Oculus Quest announcements, new games, release dates for existing games that we knew were coming. Just a great time to be an Oculus Quest owner. Well, we didn't get a laundry list this past week, but we got pretty much a bombshell announcement. It's a big deal, Ruuts, and I didn't realize how big of a deal Onward on Oculus Quest actually was until I saw how the community reacted to it. A lot of people love Onward, Ruuts. I didn't realize just how many.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this today because I think Pavlov and Contractors is better, but that's my personal opinion. But it's the type of games you like to play, like I'd be the type of person that would say a Mario Kart would be better than Project Cars 2. And people would say, hell no, dude, like the sim is where it's at. So Onward is the closest VR sim. I mean, it's legit. Like it is a simulator of war in a sense. And it's just different than the other ones. The other ones are more fast paced, which I love. This is more strategic, more slow down. And I guess it's kind of like Echo VR in a sense for me, as far as the community kind of ruined Onward for me early on, because the people are just complete, at least that I've encountered, are complete dicks, and they expect you to be completely on point. Be like going into a Call of Duty match when on just a flat game, and you're there with that guy that's his life, and it just, I don't like that attitude, So I don't know, but it is a huge IP for sure.
Yeah, man. I knew I had a passionate user base. I didn't know how large it was until I saw this news come out this past week and saw pretty much universally people rejoicing. Anyway, the ever popular multiplayer shooter is set to release on Oculus Quest July 30th for a price of $25. Developer Downpour Interactive also revealed that it had worked with the Shadowpoint developer CodeSync on the port of the game. Downpour has also been working with Unity directly to optimize the port. So they're pretty much giving their best effort here to ensure that the Oculus Quest version of Onward it has parity with the other version, the PCVR version as well. Even going so far as to involve the Unity people directly to help with the optimization. Um, it makes me interested, Rich. Honestly, I've never played Onward, and from what people, or from your description specifically, it sounds like something kind of between a contractor's and a Firewall Zero hour, something with a little bit slower, deliberate pace, something that's a little bit more teamwork oriented. Uh, it looks interesting. It looks like it could be really good. Um, I find it interesting that the Quest version of the game is going to feature full cross-play support with PCVR versions on Steam as well as the Oculus Store. And from launch day onward, the game is going to be updated on exactly the same schedule as the PC VR version. So if you get an update in the future for PCVR, you're going to get the same update on Quest. And it makes me interested, Roots. It makes me interested to see just how well this port is going to turn out.
Yeah, we might have to go back in and check it out because it's been a long time since I've been here in this game, so I can't really definitively say as far as how much I would like it gameplay wise over, say, Contractors or Pavlov or whatever. I mean, I love the maps and the game modes in the other ones. I mean, that's to me what makes it the game is the game modes in the maps. So if Onward is still the same as it was the day I got it, even if it's upgraded some maps or whatever, I still think the other ones are better for me anyway. But it is cool that it's going to be crossplay, and it does make me want to go back in and check it out. Yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing, right? If your main issues with Onward was the community, or they were community based, well, that's the cool thing about now as compared to then is we have our own community now. We don't have to go play with some random douchebag in there, right? We can organize a posse. We can round up a posse, Roots, and go hit the game hard.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
true.
so that's something we have to consider now, right?
Yeah, because we usually will play private games anyway. Although we've been opening them up more to public just to get a better group going and open them to the professionals. So the sign says.
DLG in the house says that he's been playing the Resident Evil 2 remake with Vorpex. Dude, I need that's something I need to get in on is this Vorpex. But I'm finding the more I think about what I'm going to do with Vorpex Roots, the more of a problem that I have. It's the same problem I have with my current library of VR games. What do you play first, man? BioShock, Resident Evil 7. I mean, there's so many games. You can play Outlast with Vorpex. And interestingly, we just got the release date for Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. That's coming up in August, if I remember correctly. We're going to be able to at least try to get that thing running in Vorpex soon. So I feel like I'm about to fall down a rabbit hole with Vorpex, and I don't know when you're going to see me poking my head up into the daylight after I get started.
Yeah, I need to figure out. I need a Vorpex guru to help me because I can never get it to run properly. As far as performance wise, and I'm running 8700K and a 2080, so everything should run good. I just think I'm running it weird because everybody else can't be wrong, so I must be wrong somehow.
Right. Roy Schwartz says Metro Exodus looks great. Yeah, man. And there was pretty much a profile for that one immediately after it released, right? Like it was like the week after or something like that. There was a Vorpex profile, something nuts like that. A good one, a good running one.
Yeah, cool.
Will, that guy's Will. Hey, what's up, Will? He says he'd play anything but Outlast. Dude, that's what I'm going for. VR horror is my favorite thing, right? But there is a severe deficiency of great horror games in VR. There's tons of good ones, but there's only a couple of great ones. And honestly, the great ones are mostly on PlayStation VR. your Here They Lie, your Resident Evil 7. Uh, these games are PSVR exclusive. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm going for, are the horror games, right? Outlast is one of the things I'm most excited about being able to check out.
Yeah, I don't know much about Outlast, but sounds cool.
Has anybody had any success with Red Dead Redemption 2 on it?
Oh god, dude, I'm gonna play. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that in virtual desktop, because virtual desktop is really good. And I was just playing some Red Dead Redemption with 2 with my son yesterday, and I swear, dude, he's crazy, man. He starts smack with people out of nowhere. He's got like this $300 bounty on his head in a couple of places, and those bounty hunters aren't messing around. And it's so deep. That game is so deep as far as what you can do and interact with people, and like even just the fact that, you know, if you're not paying attention, you can run yourself right into a tree or down this cliff. My son had to put his horse down because he like jumped down some weird thing, and the horse fell, and then Dot was like struggling to live, bleeding out, and yeah, it's a sad time. So.
Rivero says we need a Silent Hill in VR. The foggy mindfuckery there is crazy. Hey, dude, stay tuned. You know, a lot of things have been leaked coming into the new console generation. You know, of course, we learned about Resident Evil 8 pretty early on, but there's also have been strong rumors from some very credible sources that the next Sony Games event is going to be built around Silent Hill for PlayStation 5.
Wow.
So I don't know. There's no real rumors about VR support yet, but it's certainly a possibility that we see PSVR support for the next Silent Hill game. And at this point, you know, I got to feel like it's a real possibility. You know, if the rumors are true, it's Sony Japan Studio is the studio that's behind the next Silent Hill game. And for those of you who don't know, that's the studio that brought us Astrobot Rescue Mission, as well as Everybody's Golf VR. So a very capable VR house, if these rumors turn out to be true. So your wish might not be that far off from reality. Just hang in there, and I guess we'll know soon enough.
It's coming. Let's do it.
It's coming. It's all coming, Roots. I mean, you know, I'm really just so curious to see what Sony's approach to VR is going to be next generation. You know, they've already committed to supporting it. We know that Sony is going to support VR through another generation. The question is, are they going to just support it, or are they going to double down and really support it? They've got a very capable machine on their hands with PlayStation 5. And if they wanted to, they can single-handedly drive VR to the next level just through the support from their first-party game studios, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got so many good connections. So
anyway, I guess we need to move on. The dark frequencies are beckoning us, so we need to move on down through the remainder of the show. And luckily enough, there's only really one more game that I want to talk about, and it looks really interesting, Roots. This game, Arcano, is a game that's being developed by a company called Newston. And it's a co-op focused VR shooter that's due out later this year. What's notable about this game, Roots, is there's obviously some very heavy Robo Recall influence on this game. Only this game, unlike Robo Recall, is meant to be a co-op game. And, you know, co-op is something I feel like VR doesn't have nearly enough of. So to see a polished looking shooter coming, a co-op shooter at that, a very welcome addition to the VR library.
yeah, no, it's not better than playing something with friends. Now look how cool those bodies look with the explosions. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it looks great. In this game, you're going to take on the role of an elite agent and fight your way through missions either in solo play or with a friend. The game is being produced by Jonas Johansson, or uh, Jonas Johansson. It depends on how you pronounce it. I'm trying not to butcher the guy's name. Jonas Johansson, who worked as a senior programmer on the Crysis trilogy at Crytek, as well as Just Cause 2 at Avalanche. So this lead developer here, Mr. Johansson, no joke, man, got some real credits there on his resume, and not a big surprise then that this game looks to be a quality play.
Yeah, the action looks good, and hopefully it'll be as good as it looks.
Yeah. Arcano is going to offer a base package with introductory elements like a shooting range, absolutely free of charge. And then missions will be available to buy. So this is an interesting pricing structure, Roots. It looks like they're going to let you have access to a very base level of the game, absolutely free. And then if you like what you see, you're going to be able to purchase the missions a la carte. It's interesting from a couple of different perspectives. One, because obviously this guy thinks highly enough of his game that they're confident enough that people are going to buy it, that they're giving it away, right?
Yeah, I wonder what the cost of each mission would be, how many missions there's going to be. So I kind of run into the same thing with like Star Wars, I don't want to end up spending $100 for this game when it's all said and done, because each mission is, as they release it, is only $4 or $5, and so many come out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh damn, I've invested a lot of money in this game. That was our initial worry about Star Wars, because we didn't know. But I would like to know a little bit more about what each mission, how long it would be, and what the cost would be, to know whether this would be anything that I would even be interested. I like to just buy the game and be done with it, or maybe buy a DLC. But it is different.
It's a double-edged sword, right? When you look at a game like Firewall, for example, a lot of criticism thrown at First Contact Entertainment when they decided to take that game into seasonal content. And, it was a $30 game to begin with. Everybody paid for it, right? That was kind of the attitude at the time. But when you look at what has happened since then, and, the games that have come and gone, and Firewall's still here, still getting semi-monthly content updates, and the game has completely transformed into it's almost like it's a full-on sequel to what it used to be, right? And we have this seasonal pricing structure to thank for that. So it is a double-edged sword. You may end up spending a lot more money on the game than you originally would have. But with that said, you get so much more content and so much better support over the lifespan of the game.
Yeah, as long as they're taking the money and putting it somewhere towards making the game better, I guess it's a win.
Yeah, you know what time it is, don't
you? Quote time. Oh,
it is quote time, sir. You got it. As an agent hired by Arcano, you're giving these over-the-top missions, and this is what the game is all about. Sneak into a building and hack a computer, hang from underneath of a helicopter in midair, etc. These missions are designed from the ground up for co-op, and they're best played with a friend, although you don't have to. So it looks like they're planning some fairly intricate and epic scenarios for you to be playing through in these missions. And again, the really cool thing about it, Roots, it's designed for co-op. You're meant to have someone in there helping you take these missions on. And again, I can't stress enough, not enough of this type of thing in VR. So I'm looking forward to checking it out, and hopefully it's as good as it looks.
Yeah, I agree. It does look good. It looks like the gameplay could be fun, and that's all that matters to me. So, that and a good story. So,
well, the good thing is we're not going to have to throw down any money to find out, right? It's going to be free to try.
Yeah. Delirium Drew says he's tired of caring about how long a game is. He just wants it to be good. He's got tons of quality games in his backlog, and I agree.
Yeah, man, I kind of almost feel like, this has come up in the flat gaming world recently. Jason Schreier has very publicly criticized games for being too long, and I kind of see where he's coming from. I mean, who needs to play a game for 40 hours when they could tell the story in 20, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have a better story. And I say this, I said it about Alien Isolation. I bought all the DLC knowing that I'll never play it. Like, I'm not going to finish the campaign, dude. It's like 40, 50, 60 hours, man. I mean, if I was just picking a game and I was playing it through to the end and that was my one game, yeah, absolutely. And I get it for those type of people, but it doesn't seem like VR is that type of player anymore. There are those that will, but most of them are going to buy one game and move on to the next and the next. And we want to split our time and not put 70 hours into one Fallout 76 campaign. Just not going to do it.
Yeah, Revero says I care about hours too, depending upon the price. I think Call of Duty games $60 for a 4-hour single player game. Well, that's the thing. That's a different different aspect to it is the pricing. I feel like that maybe some of these longer games should be shortened, but I feel like the price should reflect that. Very famously this last week, was it 2K Sports come out and said that their next year's NBA game was going to be $70. I mean, there's a way around, and people are just accepting it, right? That $70 is going to be the new normal for a AAA flat game. It doesn't have to be, right? They could cut the length of these games in half, which not only would mean that we'd be getting the game for a lesser price if it's priced fairly, but they're going to be able to develop it in half the time, right? Or at least that's the idea is that if you're doing a 20-hour game instead of a 40-hour game, you should be able to charge $40 for it instead of 60 or 70, and then get it out in 2 years instead of 4, right?
Yeah, I agree. It might make the games better in that respect anyway. So,
right. So, yeah. Anyway, with regards to Arcano, this game is coming out in December, so plenty of time left for us to, or for the developer rather to shit, man. I'm sitting here reading I've got the chat up in front of me, and it's hard to keep my train of thought. Delirium Drew says long world open games are so overrated. Maybe if you're a teenager without a job, a lot of those games, maybe 10% or less, actually finish the story. But that's kind of the thing, like with The Last of Us 2. A very story-driven experience. A lot of people played through this last week. They could have told that story in 15 to 20 hours, dude. It didn't have to be as long as it was. And at times it kind of felt like, to me as a viewer, I didn't play it, of course. It felt like they were intentionally dragging it out just so that you can get in some quality time with the characters. We'll say that.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
All right. Anyway, that's going to wrap the news for this week and bring us into the reminders. And we're going to kick off reminders this week the same way that we do every week, and that is by reminding you all to help support these developers of these awesome games by going along with us right now. Ruuts and I are on our way over to Wishlist something. It helps the developer not only by helping them gauge interest, but it also helps raise their profile within these individual stores. And it's an easy thing to do. We're already at our computers.
I got one I can get. Everything else is PlayStation or Quest.
That's just how the news fell this week, man.
Arcano, I can free list it. It's free to play. I'm adding it to my wish list. Arcano is on there. I'm ready.
Well, I've already got Dreams, right? And budget cuts. When it comes to PlayStation, they don't really put things up ahead of time unless there's a pre-order live on it. I've already got Angry Birds. Uh, Mortal Blitz Combat Arena. I don't know if that one would even be up yet.
Slay
Probably
Blaze.
not.
Slay Blaze says Alex, Half-Life Alex length seemed good for VR games, and I agree. I think it was perfect length.
I agree as well. It probably took me around 20, 25 hours to play that game, and it felt just right, didn't it? In many ways.
I did it in like almost half of that, like 14. Is Onward cross-buy? That's a good question. From
it is. Onward is cross-buy, and I didn't put that in my notes here, and I'm going off of memory, so
okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that Onward is going to be cross-buy.
Oh, good. So I could, if I get a quest someday, I could play it.
When, sir?
Oh,
when
yes,
you
when.
get a quest
Yes,
someday.
when. That's right.
So yeah, it looks like Arcano is really the only one on here that realistically I could wish list, but I don't even know that there would be a Steam page for it yet. It's not out till December.
Stride.
So probably not.
Stride VR is what Rendered Reality just said. We have to.
Okay, yeah, Stride looked awesome. That's that one.
Summer 2020. Yeah, it's the one parkour where you're running.
Right, while you're running across the mountaintops, killing bad guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
I didn't get that already. That's a good one.
I just added that in real time. Thank you, Rendered Reality, for reminding me. And I didn't have that in my wish list, so it's added now.
Yeah, that's an awesome looking game. I can't wait to try that one out.
Yeah. Bitey, welcome to the party. He says he's late, but he's here.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what I told Ray Pope, man. You're always just on time.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no late. You're right on time, and you get to watch the rest of the episode after. Just don't expect us to answer. I'll be on a different podcast.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. He always appears precisely when he means to.
That's right.
All right, so summer 2020 Stride. Another one of these vague summer releases. Maybe a July game, Roots.
It's coming. Be tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, so Stride has firmly been placed into my wish list, and good call, Rendered Reality. I've been that game looks cool. All right, so and that is going to bring us into our next set of reminders: free stuff and killer deals. And it's interesting this week, Roots. We always kind of start off with the PlayStation Network and what they have available with PS Plus. We're coming, this week is a transition week, right? So on Tuesday, the games are going to change. So this is your last opportunity to get Call of Duty World War II and Star Wars Battlefront 2, both of which are available with PS Plus right now. Last call, folks. Last call for alcohol. You want to drink, you better go get one. Because on Tuesday, it switches over, and PlayStation is celebrating Roots 10 years of PS Plus this week.
Wow.
And they're doing so by, instead of giving us 2 games, giving us 3. And they're actually legit games. I mean, if Call of Duty and Star Wars wasn't legit enough already, they're giving out NBA 2K20. They're giving out The Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration.
Wow.
And they're giving out another game titled Erica, which is a kind of a decision based story driven experience.
Wow. 3 games, huh? It's crazy.
Yeah, 3 games, 2 of them fairly big titles, and one of them, Roots, Rise of the Tomb Raider, has a VR mode in it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, I've always wondered about that Rise of the Tomb Raider because I've seen it like for sale on the Steam sales. What is the VR mode? You're playing the game, but it's third person, kind of like Edge of Nowhere, or?
It's very limited. There's a reason why I didn't buy this game, and I mean, it's Tomb Raider VR, right? If it would be awesome, you'd buy it. But it's fairly limited. You get to explore Croft Manor, if I'm correct. It's a very limited, 30 minutes to an hour type deal. Just extra tacked onto the game. You don't get to play the game proper in VR. It's just an extra VR mode. But hey, you know, I'm happy to get anything VR related with PS Plus. It's such a rarity these days.
Yeah, it is. Radio Runt is finally in the room. So welcome to the room, Radio Runt. I'm assuming he was maybe listening but not able to type. My guess.
No, he was sharpening. He was sharpening his skills because he's going to be part of our posse that we round up to take care of these rendered reality guys.
Oh yeah, he's good. Radio Runt.
In case you weren't around, it's on. It's officially on, dude. War is coming.
Yeah,
and
War is here.
I hope you're ready.
It's here.
All right. Anyway, the PS Plus game's not the only free stuff. There's also some killer deals on the PlayStation Network this week. Five Nights at Freddy VR's Roots. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted is on sale right now. $17 for the base game, or you could get it bundled with the Curse of Dreadbear DLC for only $20. So just $3 more. You know, normally you would pay what, 30 and 35 respectively for those two copies. Now 17 and 20, a pretty solid deal.
Well, speaking for your son, the PlayStation version can suck it. The Oculus Quest version is what's important.
Well, here's the beauty of that, Roots. What I've done this week is going to save me that money because, like I said, I bought that Nighthawk router.
Oh.
And now I can just send him wirelessly with the Quest in the living room, and he can play the Steam version of it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like it.
Best of both worlds, right? You get the high quality graphics that the PC offers, and the tetherless freedom that the Oculus Quest offers.
Yeah, that was my conundrum: Rift S or wireless freedom.
Yeah. So yeah, he should be happy when he gets back from camping.
Yeah.
Be able to do that. Also on the PlayStation Store, and I mentioned it last week, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, $32 for the standard edition, $37 for the tourist edition. So just $5 more, Roots. Get you Lucille, get you Rick's revolver, and what was the third item that you get with the tourist edition?
I think a knife. I'm not sure, like a knife. The beauty is
like Daryl's knife.
Yeah, the beauty is you can craft that right off the bat. You don't have to like unlock, because everything else, it's got, levels. You have to unlock different stuff as you gather stuff. So, you won't be able to start with Lucille, but as soon as you get the crafting materials, you can craft it really early on. So it does make a big difference. And it's, I don't know, I've said it before, but I never understood skins in flat gaming. Like that's most of the time it's for other people on multiplayer games or whatever, but especially a first person game. But something like this, looking down and seeing Rick's gun or Lucille, there's a difference because you're in there. It's a presence, another presence thing that adds for $5. Why not? It's not like I'm asking you to pay $100 for the backpack that you won't get. So
right, unicorn backpack.
Yeah, unicorn backpack.
But yeah, I totally get you. If you're like me, you're a fan of The Walking Dead, and if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, Lucille's a character in itself, right? So to be able to hold Lucille and turn Henri's face into hamburger properly, it's worth $5 all day long.
Yeah, I still don't like Henri getting hamburger face, man. He's just hanging there upside down, bro. What's he doing? He's waiting for you.
Wow. We need to do another Evil Weasel versus Saint Roots video, man. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, especially since I finished Half-Life Alyx. When I was thinking to myself, what's next? I'm feeling like Saints and Sinners might be next.
Yeah, Paradise Decay is in the house. I think it should be next.
What's up, PD? Congrats on 10K. PD just crossed 10,000, Roots.
Yeah, dude. PD, man. I was just talking to my son about him, because my son, ever since he's little. Even now, he still loves Sips and some of the. He's like a huge Yogscast fan. So I was like filling him in on the backstory with PD and the Yogscast. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Congratulations again, PD. The hardest working man in VR, dude. He's playing every game twice, and I think he just got he finally upgraded from his 1060 onto a 2070 Super. So,
wow, that's huge, dude. That's awesome, man. That's a big deal, man. That 1060, I bought the 1060, not even for VR gaming. It was for 4K gaming, quote unquote, before I got VR, and I had it for a day because the girl even told me the 3 gigabytes, the RAM is what holds you back. So that 2070 has got to be a huge jump. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm interested to see, so many different things from PD's channel now that he has that horsepower. I mean, for example, the Vortex videos are going to take on a whole new life now that he has a proper graphics card pushing it.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I try to tell people, a lot of people, whether it be the Rift S, Scion saying he's waiting for the Rift S for something new, the next level, or it be a video card. People will say, I'm waiting for the next VR video card to drop. This is the way I look at it. Every time you go into VR, you're getting something out of that investment. Like it's making your gameplay and everything that much exponentially better. So it's worth the investment because before you know, a year or 2 years goes by, you've been playing that same shitty ass headset or with that old video card, and you could have been experiencing a much better experience the entire time. So I get holding off, but at the same time, there's like that. It's like, how good do you want your experience to be? Because I can't stand jank. I can't stand playing something. It's the reason why I finally just went out and got the Rift S, because the CV1's amazing, but the sensors and the USB swapperoos and just all the drawbacks from the CV1, I have a memory, and I remembered the Rift S and its goodness, and I had to come back.
God rays.
And well, what's weird is the God rays are still there to some extent, but it's like the technology, whatever they did, is they go sideways now. Like you can still see it a little bit if you look for it, but it doesn't come right in your face. And so it doesn't bother you. It's like it's blocked or something. It's something, it's different, because I was noticing that. I was like, oh, there's still a little bit of God rays, but it's not like shining in my eyes.
Right.
So, and then the screen door effect is huge. Like I said, Sea of Thieves looks so crisp in that Rift S versus the CV1 on the virtual desktop. It was amazing. So,
yeah. So yeah, they call it future proofing for a reason, right? It was a hard decision back when I built my computer whether or not I should get mid-tier components or top of the line. And eventually I decided to go with the top of the line stuff. And it was a big pill to swallow at that time. It was a lot of money. But here I am 3 years later and still running on Ultra, So you're paying for something. What you're paying for is you're paying for time, right?
Yeah. And you're paying for the experience to be better, like we were giving Anthony a hard time when he got the new video card, but never super sampled. Well, that's the point of getting the video card, is you can like juice so much more graphics out of it. And it can be night and day, the way how good it looks, just from going regular to super sampled, and having that better video card allows you to do that. And a lot of less jank. There's how many games out there that aren't optimized as well as you think they should be, and everyone else is bitching about how it's running, and you're like, it's running fine for me. It's because you have superior hardware that can run it. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, so this week on the Epic Game Store, only one free game, but it's an interesting looking one. It's a game called You, which is a kind of a little cutesy, cartoony flat game based on color, based around colors. So only one game this week on Epic Game Store, but it looks like next week, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was like 2 or 3 games that they're giving out next week, and fairly decent ones at that.
This game looked kind of interesting. I could have sworn I read that it was PlayStation before, right? Isn't this coming from PlayStation, or am I wrong on that?
I have no clue at all. I've never even heard of this game until today or yesterday when I wrote up these notes. So
Yeah, I could have sworn it was it's a PlayStation, but maybe not. I just if it is, it's another Epic game from PlayStation, which is cool.
yeah, it looks cool. I like these little side-scrolling platformers, and it's one of the things that I really enjoy about the PlayStation community, right? Is that they're keeping stuff like this alive by supporting independent developers, and you find tons of stuff like this on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, agreed.
But absolutely free on Epic Games this week. Yeah, sure, it's a flat game, right? But it's free. Free's free, bro. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Who doesn't love free, right?
Rendered Reality says, yeah, the mining boom messed everything up for us gamers. Yeah, man, when I built my computer, it was right in the middle of that thing. And like graphics cards, it wasn't that they were expensive. You just couldn't get a graphics card. They were out of stock. Everything from a 1060 up to a 1080 Ti, which was top of the line at that time, it was all sold out. So I literally like had to spend like a month, 6 weeks, checking daily all the different stores to catch them when they come in stock. And I actually got lucky because within the span of 1 week, two different EVGA 1080 Ti cards came in stock. So I bought the Supercharged 2 originally, and then like 2 days later, the FTW3, which was the one I wanted, came into stock, and I was able to get that one too. So instead of returning the original one, I sold it for a profit and made a couple $100 on it, which made it a little bit easier to pay the inflated price for the one that I wanted.
Yeah. Well, Rendered Reality was just saying he's hoping the 2080 will last him a while, although he's gonna want to upgrade when the new one drops, and that's exactly the boat I'm in. The 2080 is a really amazing card, but the next one levels are supposed to be just like a big, huge jump, and I like to have I like to future-proof myself, and I like to have that extra power to where I can just tweak the hell out of it. So.
Well, let's hope they don't take the similar approach to pricing that they took last gen. You know, normally what happens is they come out with the newest line of cards, and that line of cards occupies the top price tier, and then the previous generation's cards drop in price to the second price tier. But that's not what happened last time. The 1080 Ti's didn't drop when the 2080 Ti's come out. Instead, what we got was all-time high prices, and not just by a little bit, right? The MSRP went from $699 to $1199 overnight, almost doubling. So let's just hope we don't get that again, right? What are we going to do if they leave the 2080s at $1,200 and $1,300 and then charge $2,000 for the 3080s?
Yeah, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I felt like it was unacceptable for the 2080s. I mean, I feel like they're price gouging. It was one thing when there was a shortage, but there's no shortage anymore. But the price is I mean, it costs the same to get a 1080 Ti today as it did when I bought it. So go figure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. What else here for free stuff and killer deals? We've got Steam. You know, I went over at great length last week. A lot of the steals that are available during the Steam summer sale. So I'm not going to rehash all that, but I will add to it because Ruuts No Limits 2, the roller coaster simulator, is at an all-time low price. This thing, what's it normally $40 or $50? You can get it for $24 right now.
Wow. Well, what you can't get is the trailer. Well, you will here in a second instead of Rinlo. There we go. No Limits 2. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what. I really enjoy this game, and this is one of those things that actually has a community of people building as well. And that's one of the coolest things. You can you have all sorts of roller coasters you can download, and I really enjoy it. It's one of the best software for roller coasters, and this is the software they use, or a lot of people companies use to build these roller coasters. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, this thing's been around for a while, amassing content. So it's fairly elaborate. There's a lot of content here. It is an older program, but still very good. In Roots, I don't know if you're aware, but since we covered it on the Monday show, it has had a fairly significant update. So there's all kinds of new stuff in it now. New coaster types. There's a couple new
Really?
parks that they added in. There's all kinds of new content in it since we've been in there.
Wow, I'm gonna have to go back in. I love this roller coaster, and I really single-handedly blame this game, well, and myself, for my ex-wife not really liking VR much, because I put her in this thing, and I think she was like looking around or doing something weird, and didn't make her feel very good. But I don't know, I really enjoy it. Really good game, really cool the way the roller coaster tracks are. It's just cool. So,
Yeah, and for the first time ever, affordable.
yeah, I've never heard it be on sale. So it's $24. What's the normal cost, you know?
Yeah, it's like $40 or $50. I'm not sure
Holy
exactly
shit.
what it is, but it's expensive.
I must really like roller coasters, because I paid for that when I first got into VR. So
Yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't actually even know that this was on sale if it weren't for somebody left a comment on our review. Remember, we reviewed it way back when,
mhm.
and I guess we had said that it was currently on sale for 20% off, and that we'd never see it at a larger discount. And they just had to leave a comment letting us know that we were wrong, and that it was now on sale for 40% off.
No, we're sorry.
So sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. Okay.
Anyway, Viveport this week. We just got new games last week with Crisis Brigade 2, and I don't remember. There was another fairly significant new game last week. But this week, some more new games. Battle Group VR, which, who was it? Somebody was on the Discord
Radio Run.
saying that this was a really fun game. That's available on Viveport Infinity, as well as the Vox. How's that pronounced, Roots? The
Vox Machina.
Machina. Vox Machina now on Viveport Infinity as well.
Wow.
And that game has quite a reputation for being a super fun multiplayer game.
Oh, cool. Now let me ask you this: if you play it on Viveport, can you play it with other players, multiplayer? I mean, that sounds like a redundant question, but we just found out that Windlands 2, for whatever reason, you can't play with other people, even though it's a multiplayer game. If you play it on Viveport Infinity, you're playing by yourself, because Radio Run had to end up buying a Steam copy to play with us.
Yeah, I don't know. It varies game to game. Some of these Viveport games use the Steam VR version of it, so quite literally you share lobbies and things. But I don't know. I don't know if this is confined to Viveport or if it's something that has parity with Steam VR.
Yeah, but I agree with Radio Run. He says this is another amazing game, as well as Bitey, and we've been talking about getting some multiplayer going on this game in the Discord for a while. I know I have it. I'd love to try it. I love the way it feels like you're in that cockpit. It's really cool, and I would imagine it would be really cool to play with people you know. So.
Yeah, mech's normally not my thing, but with that said, VR, it changes your tastes, right? Like things you normally don't get into are super cool in VR, and I feel like this could be one of those things, because unlike playing a mech game on a flat screen, you get that sense of scale in VR, right? Of driving this gigantic mech.
Well, what's cool about that too is the way you move around. Like you've got a handle you can pull, and it like shoots you up in the air with like a or not teleport, but like a rocket. You like, and so you're floating around. I don't know, man. It's just the way you move around, and of course walking as well. It's just really cool, and I think it's definitely worth picking up. What's the cost on the sale? Do you know? Well, I guess November, and you said it was Viveport Infinity, yeah.
Yeah,
So
these are the new Infinity titles. So Infinity growing
free.
its already impressive library of amazing VR titles.
Yep.
All right, Roots. Well, I think that's going to wrap up free stuff and killer deals and bring us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you, the viewer, can help to support our channel and support our community. And for those of you who are new to the channel, of course, the easiest and best way to help support us is by subscribing and clicking that notification bell. And if you like this video, of course, give it a thumbs up. That's another thing that it really helps out. It helps our channel gain recognition and thus helps our community to grow. Of course, for those of you who've been around and want to join the conversation, you can do so by clicking the Discord invitation that we have placed down in the description below. Again, an amazing community that we've got going on here. Even if you just want to, you're not all about chatting, and you just want to jump in and get on some multiplayer, much like the contractors thing we've got going on with rendered reality here. Our Discord's a great place for just to find people to play with, right, Roots?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Gamer Chick 13, how's it going? Rendered Reality says he wonders how we went the whole show 2.5 hours without drinking coffee. And I did drink a full pot before the show. Usually I do drink it. He's got his, what? Wes has his, I don't even know what that is. Gatorade, Wes.
It's Gatorade,
yeah,
son.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Okay.
Thirst quencher. It's for that. I don't know if you heard, but it's for that deep down body thirst.
Oh, I thought it was for growing plants like Brondo.
Brondo, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, for those of you who have been longtime subscribers and longtime members of our Discord who would like to further support our community, of course, you can support us on Patreon. And for as little as $3 per month, you will gain access to my weekly show notes early, of course, before the show even airs, as well as bonus content such as the Money Show. And Roots, again, like we said at the top of the show, I really like what we're doing with the Money Show here. I think that it's going to work out swimmingly, and I think that we could see this concept come into the channel proper if it's going to be as good as I think it's going to be.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a good idea, and I think it's going to give us a chance to play some cool games.
We get to talk about VR, we get to play VR, and we get to do it at the same time. Never been done before, Roots. I mean, we've seen people get together in alt space. We've seen people get together in Rec Room in a seated discussion-based format, but we've never seen anybody discussing the issues of the day while they're trying to avoid incoming fire and murder the enemy.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to do that now. We're pioneers, Roots.
Yeah. And the next step will be live, doing the same thing live, right?
Yeah, man. That's what's next.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you get for your donation of $3 or more per month. And as always, I'd like to thank our patrons for being so awesome. And we appreciate all your support, whether you're a patron, a subscriber, a member of our Discord, or even someone who just listens on the audio podcast. We really appreciate all of you.
Absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I would like to thank you once again for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We will see you tomorrow, friends, with extended thoughts on Iron Man VR.